Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Time is flying. It's Saturday, August 6th, and I hope you enjoyed the last videos. Hey, guess what? Milestone. We got to 29 subscribers. So I'm happy about that. Thank you. If you are the one subscriber that subscribed in the past, whatever time it was, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We're looking for 50 by Christmas. I'm not sure we can get there, but we're going to have fun trying just the same. So I did the last videos about, Creflo Dollar. Well, hey, come on and have a cup of coffee with me. Sit down, relax. It's Saturday. And keep me company, all right? So we did that tithing preacher. And, if you're new, I do different contents. People like the organized crime stories and everything. And that's why I put up that Mike Franseze, because he gets views like a magnet. So, yeah. They hustled me. No, I'm going to hustle them. I'm going to put Mike Franseze in there every day. No, not every day, because I want to do different topics. But I did... I do enjoy telling them stories, because at 59 years old, looking back and looking at me and my thinking at that age, and thinking that I was sharp, and I consider myself I was sharp. I mean, in different facets, and I enjoyed those days. It was stressful at times, yeah, when you think you're going to get hit. But I liked it. Yeah, I had some stressful times. And you know what? I never try to promote the book, because I give it away. It's spiritual. And there's also the stories. It's a memoir, They Dead Missed. Joseph Monte, Monte, on Amazon Books. I hardly ever promote it. I think I promoted it twice out of 70 videos, but it's a memoir. And it goes in greater detail about what was going on during that turbulent time when I was caught between the FBI and the mafia. And it was just like, But I wasn't a rat or anything. And I mean, and just like I said with Takesha 6ix9ine, and what he had to do in my last video, I mean, I don't, he turned, if he turned in evidence and they went to jail, I still think he's a cool dude. I still think he's a good guy. That's all I'm saying. Because I've seen people years ago, and they did crimes together, and one person gets pinched and they're interrogating who else was with you, who did this, who did that, and they rarely had any type of physical evidence. All it was your testimony and your statements. There wasn't, it was a statement. But there were crafty lawyers for the very, very rich, high-end lawyers that got a lot of gangsters off on charges. I mean, John Gotti had the best. He walked out of court. They couldn't pin nothing on him until the end. And so I talked about the rats and all that kind of stuff. But, Mike Franseze was running around, and that was the Colombo family. And he worked with another family. But what people don't understand about the mafia and organized crime is that it's like NFL football teams sometimes. You got a guy in a family that excels at this thing, and and another family's lacking at a person to be adequate in that thing. But that person might excel in another thing. So if it might be a good trade, for lack of better words. You know what? Hey, let's take Tom. I'll give you Bob because Tom's good at this, and so it's a good smart trade. And it wasn't like, you see the YouTube channel Mafia People and Gangsters, and yes, it's entertainment and it's trying to get views and subscribers. But in the same breath, it wasn't like that flavor. I mean, I wasn't a shot caller. I wasn't this and that, but I know a lot of people that were in the different crime families. And believe me, I'd hang out, go to the track with some of these guys and be more personable, as personable as you can get, and friendly, and just ask some questions. Some of them didn't mind it. And then some of them would be like, give it a break, JoJo. What the heck? Come on, we're here to gamble and bet horses. Enough of that, But I was curious. So, Mike Franseze, he's given his statements on his channel and everything. And whether they're true or false, the guy's a hustler. The guy's a gangster. So, there's other people bashing him and everything else, Sammy the Bull. But, I got mixed feelings about Mike Franseze because I would go run errands down there and see him in the mix and stuff and have a little interaction about the business that was going on. And then I'd come back to Niagara Falls and then so them guys, they would have poker games. And at the time I felt like I was getting slighted on the money they were giving me for my duties. And I was getting pissed off and thinking, geez, I got to go through this and that. And then they're chiseling me, and they got razor blades in their pockets if they want to reach in and give me $1. They got fish hooks in their pockets. So, and if there was, so they used to have poker games and everything. And a guy that gave me a hard time a few times, they were playing, and I didn't want to go there that night because I wanted to just be out of there and just lead a regular normal life. I mean, and just be a regular civilian. But I was getting pissed off. And when I was driving up there to help them, and a lot of times at the end of the night, they're all drunk and I got to give some of them a ride home. And it's a rodeo at times. These guys being drunk and crazy with guns, and I'm driving them, and they're going, go here, take a left, take a right, do this. No, go back. And it's just like, and so the one time the guy, Colombo Family Guy, what was up here, Mike Franseze, man, and they had big card games, a lot of money on the table. And I said, everybody all set, blah, blah, blah. All right, I want to get out of here. Oh, I got to go. What time is it? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And oh, no, JoJo, come on, stay. And I'm thinking, you know what? If I got to give this one guy a ride, he's drinking Manhattans or whatever. He's getting drunk. And he passes out or whatever happens. If he leaves his guard down in any capacity, I'm gonna get his money. Crazy. So make a long story short, but I like telling stories. That's what the channel's for. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment. So I get it. He comes in the car. Yeah, but did you make any money? Nah, I don't make no money. You guys are cheap and everything. Oh, watch your mouth, blah, 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 this and that. So I'll tell you a phenomenon about some of these guys. I don't know, I've seen it a few times, is they constantly counting their bankroll and whatever, and wherever you are or something. You look at me, how many times are you going to count that money? They're constantly counting it like it's a quirk or something. And so these guys, a lot of them are married, but they have girlfriends. And then after the poker, after the drinking at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they want to go meet up. They want to go see their girlfriend somewhere. And I spent many a nights riding around with some guys, or, one guy, and he's go here, go here, go here. And then, what are you going to give me, a $20 bill after all that? So this one guy, this regular night and everything, and he's cocked out of his brains, and he gave me a little couple problems here and there and everything. And when they talk shit, and I can't talk back, because if you watch my other videos, I talk back. And you can't. I'm not a made member. They're a made member. If you talk back, you get whacked. It's a death sentence. I dodged that because my godfather in Brooklyn stuck up for me and said, no, you ain't treating JoJo like that. You guys are nah. So that's another story. But this guy, he used to ride me a few times and talk shit. So I got him in the car, and he's got all these stacks of money on his lap, on the divider thing between the seats, and the light bulb goes off. I'm gonna get some of it. So we're riding along, and I'm going, well, where are we going? And he's going, well, just ride and everything. And then you're paranoid sometimes when you got a psychopathic guy like this with a gun, and you're just thinking, what if he just goes nuts and tries to, beat me up or torture me or shoot me? You don't know. You don't know. I don't want to be in the car with a guy like that. But that money, so that money was a motivation. So he's got all this money, thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm trying to carry on a conversation, but you know how it is if you're carrying on a conversation with a drunk person and it's just fractured dialogue, blah, blah, yeah, it's like, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Oh, really? Yeah, then it's just twisted conversation. So and then it gets quiet. I look, he's snoring. And then I don't know, because you always got to play chess and mental hopscotch, like, is he just baiting me? Is he baiting me? Look, I'll just pretend I passed out. Well, JoJo, try to grab some of this money. And he had it on the floor. He had it on his lap. It was falling. It was a circus. So I grab because he would never remember what his, I grab a substantial amount of money. I'm like, yeah, I finally got one over on these guys. It's a crazy world. Well, when in Rome, do like the Romans. So I had the chance. And so I don't want to say any amounts of money or anything, but it was a nice score. It made me feel like I got paid back for all the times I got gypped by the families when I was doing a risky type of thing. And so it felt like my compensation package. So that was on the weekend. And I get him home, this and that. I leave him on a doorstep. It was probably some girlfriend. I don't know what, I try to remember 30 years ago, 35 years ago. And that's fine. Fast forward to the next week. I go up there and I didn't have to do any errands. The boss, Sam M, called the office and said, "Hey, Jojo, come up. We got the whatever, linguine. We got this up here," because it was a restaurant. They owned a restaurant and they also ran organized crime out of it. And I was like, all right, cool. I says, Mike, I'm leaving. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go see Sam. And so we're talking. He's like, what happened last weekend? I was like, nah, I made a couple dollars, gave a couple guys a ride home and, poured a couple drinks, mixed a couple mixed drinks and made a couple of dollars. So he said, what about so-and-so? And it was the guy I gave a ride home. I said, oh, yeah, I gave him a ride home too. And now I know, here's the chess game. I know he's going to say something about the money or whatever, because I wasn't shy when I took the money. I was grabbing. So when he woke up, he must have thought, what the heck? I had the money or something. Jojo gave me a ride. But I'm the lowest man on the totem pole as far as if you're going to start to accuse anybody, because I was kind of timid and reserved and, in that manner. So I just said, yeah, well, I gave him a ride and he had all his money everywhere. And so he said, oh, really? I said, yeah, he was cocked and I was driving all over Niagara Falls, go here. Then he'd say, no, go another place. And he's like, oh, did he pay you? I said, yeah, he gave me $50. So there's Sam in his 70s, been around. He looks at me and he said, is that the truth? And I says, well, why wouldn't it be the truth, Sam? I don't know what he did after I dropped him off. Trying to get all this money back into his pockets, and I didn't want him in the car. If I get pulled over, this guy's got a gun on him and he's got all this money. I want to get him out of my car. So he's like, well, that's good. So he says, wasn't he one of the guys that, he knew that he would ride me and talk shit to me and everything else. And, I said, that's all right. I'm just down on making some money and I'll leave it at that. And he said, well, he wants to talk to you. I said, I don't want to talk to him. I just want to do my errand, blah, blah, blah. So he comes out. And he's eavesdropping and everything. So he goes, well, there's from X amount of dollars to X amount of dollars missing, Jojo. And I don't know. I says, well, where'd you go after I dropped you off? Oh, well, this girl or whatever, there's like 3 a.m. whores. Some of these gangsters got booty calls and everything. So I don't want to kind of put a booty call girl in jeopardy and say, well, maybe she rolled you once you got to her apartment or house. I don't want to put that person in that jeopardy because these guys were nuts. And so Sam says, well, were you packing or, would you have? He said, yeah, of course I was. He said, did you have money all over the floor in the car? And he went, yeah, I think so. And he said, you think that's smart? And the guy says, well, that's not too smart. He said, listen, don't ever do that again. If you got rolled or if you got pickpocketed or whatever, nobody knows what really happened, but you shouldn't be rolling like that. You're supposed to go under the radar and not take chances of putting Jojo on the spot. And then you got money out, you're cocked, and you got a gun on you. And he was like, now get the hell away from me and leave Jojo alone. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, I rolled them, and I rolled them good. And I rolled a couple other guys good. Because I tell you what, the Colombos, the Mike Franseze, and all this and that, they run around with their channels or whatever, but they're always looking to save that dollar. They don't want to reward you for your duties. It's always the low end, and it's hard to speak up and say, hey, I want, it's hard to speak up, and then they'll think it's disrespectful, and they'll think you're an ingrate or something like that. But it's like, nah, I want my portion. So the guys in New York, he cried after that. This guy cried to the other crew members, some of the other crew members, yeah, that JoJo rolled me when I was drunk. And they all said, well, good for JoJo. Good for JoJo. Good for him. So, I had a guy in there that I was closer to, like a buddy, where he would speak a little more personal outside of that mafia mentality. And sometimes he'd give me some tips, or he'd give me a heads up on what to do and what not to do. And he was a cool cat. And so it's just like, Mike Franseze and them, the capos and these guys, they're running around, and they want all the money. Everybody hustles in their schemes, and the money goes up to them. Well, geez, you're out there in the trenches doing the dirty work, and they got to turn that money over for whatever generated money, whatever rackets or schemes generated money. You got to send that money up to the boss and the capo. Really? So, I mean, I wasn't a made member, but I wanted to hustle a little bit. And after I seen what's at play, after a while, I just started thinking, I'm going to get what I can get if it's safe enough. If it's safe enough, not just a flagrant foul and just do something, it's very transparent. And like, no, I ain't got cayunes like that. No, that's a bullet. That's a quick, that won't end good. So, these guys, there was a lot of good type of guys, regular guys that did it. It's not what you think on the channels. Of course, it's entertainment, YouTube, it's entertainment and everything else. But sometimes I get pissed off a little because it's not the true temperature of that life at times. It's not the true flavor of that life at times. Some are lying, some are sensationalizing, and some are doing other things, but they want views because it's a hustle. And I'm not going to sit back anymore and say this guy was lying, that guy was lying, because it's a hustle. You expect them to lie. They hustled in the streets of New York. Now they're hustling on the information techno highway, social media highway, and they're hustling that. These guys can hustle anything. They can hustle. So I felt I was getting gypped. I felt that I wasn't being treated right. So if there was a spot where I can grab or something, that's all right. Because I just viewed it, when I got smart, I just thought, I'm getting underpaid here. This ain't right. I'm getting, So Mike Franseze, and he goes on there, and he's a good guy. I'm not going to bash him. And I wish the best for him. And we had interactions and everything else. And then my godfather had to straighten them out when my godfather became aware of what was going on when I was running these errands. And he would come straight up and said, you got to pay JoJo more. What nerve you got, the poor kid taking chances with a bullseye on his back. And then in return, you throw him a bologna sandwich. You give him a ham sandwich. After all that, you guys are making all the money. You greedy, whatever, fill in the blank. And then, I don't want any friction, even though my godfather's sticking up for me. I don't want any friction because it just takes one conversation for somebody to say, what about this guy? What about that guy? And next thing you know, they're missing. So, I mean, in terms, they call it, you rolled a guy. Some guy got drunk and you went in his pockets and you rolled him. The person got rolled. You know, I used to hear these guys talking about stuff, and it's like, James got rolled, yeah, but whatever. But you don't roll, you whatever in whatever situation that might happen, and you better have a full proof uh, robbery or rolling, because if they know or whatever, and I know this guy had a chip on his shoulder because he knew that I got him, but then he knew I was protected, and this guy was a loose cannon, but he didn't intimidate me or talk shit to me anymore, because the people in New York said, leave JoJo alone, to the people in Niagara Falls. Enough is enough. You're going to ruin everything. You're doing business and doing things effectively, and I did my job 100% perfect. So leave it alone. Leave it alone. Don't have no attitude. Let's make this money. Let's make this money. So yeah, I see Mike Franseze and everything, and he's in his 70s by now. And you know, everybody's trying to hustle, everybody's trying to make money. And I was doing a couple errands, a couple things like this, and one of his boys left their guard down. Shame on him. I look at it as conversation, so that's all. I was struggling for a topic today, and I was thinking, oh, well, then I says, well, Mike Francese's story is a good go-to story because it's a good thumbnail, and it generates more views. So, yeah, whatever. I'm hustling. So, it's August 6th. Summer's moving along. I hope everybody's enjoying their summer. Beautiful summer. Boy, we deserve it. We deserve it. So I'm going to do the Jesus Calling. It's a little paragraph. It's a daily devotion. It's psychology. It's spirituality. And just makes you think about a couple things. That's all. Is that a turnoff? Somebody's comment is like, is that a turnoff? But if you're in a crisis, don't be like, please God, then don't go there. If your spirituality is just convenient and you use it like a tool from a toolbox, to each his own. But I want to have a little more power. Why not? I want to. So that's that. The Mike Francese stories get a lot more attention in the thumbnail, and I get more views. And I know it's kind of backdoor, but hey, I'm trying to grow some views and everything. I'm just doing. I got other content and different things I would like to be entertaining and everything. And so he would never. Some guys, they might be like, oh, go see him he's speaking at whatever. I don't want to approach him. He's living his life. Oh, do you remember me, Mike, from whatever? And we were doing this and that. He don't know like what I've been into the last 35 years. He don't know what I'm getting at. I don't know if he's got complete immunity because he worked with the FBI. I don't know what his status is. I don't need to see him. I just want to tell a few stories from a million years ago. And my only motivation is to try to build my channel up and share a good message while I'm doing it with spirituality. This isn't a gangster channel. I do a lot of different topics, but I'm trying to attract those views with that Mike Francese thumbnail. And then I'm trying to get in the daily devotion. I'm just trying to keep you in there long enough to see the daily devotion, and maybe you'll just start coming for the daily devotion versus these other mafia stories, or you come for both. So that's my marketing plan. So let's do it right now. And I thank you, the subscribers, the new subscriber. I thank you, and I got a lot of great stories and content and a lot of stuff coming down the pike. And let's see. Is he Jesus Calling? One paragraph. When things seem to be going all wrong, stay and affirm your trust in me. It's hard to trust God when things are going wrong. Geez, God, why me? Why me? Calmly bring these matters to me and leave them in my capable hands. Okay, God, I can't handle this stuff. Let me put it on you. Your back is stronger than my back. Then simply do the next thing. Stay in touch with me through thankful, trusting prayers, resting in my sovereign control. Rejoice in me, exult in God of your salvation. If you trust in me, I make your feet like the feet of a deer, fleet-footed. I enable you to walk and make progress upon your high places of trouble, suffering, responsibility. So we put that burden over on him, and then we could ease our mind. We could walk a little lighter and just have that trust that, don't despair, don't fear, don't give up. Just don't give up. Hang in there. I came back from being dead and started from scratch. So I'm not giving up. I know you could come back. You could come back. Don't let depression and fear and stress overcome you. No. You have the power to rise up and connect into God's power and at the least have a better mindset and psychology so you could be more effective in these trials and tribulations that come at you. So, I can't see why, I don't understand why somebody wouldn't do that. But everybody's, you can't force feed this stuff down people's throat. If they gravitate to it or they like a message, they might open their mind and their heart and their spirit up. But if not, that's life. That's life. And I can't go crazy overboard trying to force that down. I'm 59 years old. I got a channel. I'm just making some awareness about spirituality and trying to throw in some interesting stories. So I hope you like me. Everybody wants to be loved and accepted and approved and everything else. So, I mean, we're only human and we're not perfect. So if we could find easier ways to have a more fulfilling life, why not? Sign me up. So I'm just trying to raise awareness and everything else. So that's the Mike Franseze story. I got a few more coming down the road. So just keep your eyes open and stay tuned because sometimes I wonder, how far can I go piggybacking Mike Franseze? How far could I go? And I'm a little hesitant about those kind of things because I don't want to feel like a scumbag and everything. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's just YouTube. It's an entertainment channel. And he could care less. So that's fine. So I'll leave it at that. So I appreciate your support. Thank you for the new subscriber, whoever you might be. And that's an example of my channel, a little camera shot. So I appreciate that. 29 subscribers, and I'm happy with it because it's my hobby. I enjoy doing it, and I just like to help one person. It's just as important as 1,000 people. So we'll leave it at that. So I really appreciate the support and the analytics. The analytics tell me that I'm actually ahead of pace. It's like, what? In 2 months, I got 29 subscribers. I'm ahead of pace. So the analytics are telling me that people like my videos, whatever. Thank you though. And I have more subscribers at this pace I'm going on. So I'll take it. Because maybe at some point in time it escalates and exponentially branches out, and then you have a little explosion. So I'm waiting for the explosion to happen. But you got to be in the trenches first. So I don't mind being in the trenches. I love you all. I enjoy doing this. I want to share some good stories, and I want to share some spirituality. Okay? And I want you to like me. Okay? So we'll leave it at that. All right, folks. And remember, be the kings and queens of your world. We're God's children. enjoy, and lock into him. Stay great, stay safe, and stay blessed. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you soon.